Program, me and my client have had many ups and downs throughout our journey thus far, but a big problem with me and my client has been the lack of social support. And this isn't primarily from the fact of family, but mainly his close friends and colleagues. Being that it is COVID, my client has had limited access to his friends and associates from school, which he was very close to just prior to the pandemic starting, and really thought that his friends helped him out with a lot of things, especially with wrestling and boxing and the other sports that they played together. And that lack of social support really has impacted my client's motivation to want to continue training, being that he did so much of his training with his teammates, his associates, and other friends from school. In addition to that, this has also played into the fact that he hasn't felt that his goals ultimately should be prioritized. And this plays into part. This lack of importance plays into the whole pandemic with COVID. And being that he is very young, he doesn't necessarily have the foresight to see that we will get better and things will prevail, and that once things do improve and things go back to normal, that these goals that he's working on now will actually become real life changes that he will then be happy that he actually did commit to and successfully acquire during this long time of being at home. And ending with final thoughts here. Overall, meeting with my client week to week, we've gone over these things on many occasions. And for the most part, the main focus that I've tried to have with my client is reminding him of how important his goals are and reminding him of how important his efforts are to ensure that we can continue to move in the right direction. Now, with that being said, he hasn't been able to get significant contact with his friends, which I think would have a major impact on his progress and his motivation, and in that his coaches as well from school. That lack of contact from the people in which he holds with high regard, I think would help a lot. But he hasn't had that much. Some effective strategies that I have found to help me with my coaching that Group One had mentioned was one such as being a good role model. So, being that my client is my little brother, I quite frankly try to always show my little brother, per se, in this instance, my client, how to eat better and how to practice better behavior, how to have a better structured day, and whether or not he has caught on to my behavior is up to him, and it's gonna ultimately happen at his own pace. But being a good role model and being a supportive role model is always going to help in the long run, in my opinion. And I think that with that being said, it goes to show that there's another level of care there, both from a coach's aspect and from a brother aspect. And in addition to that, also incorporating to my coaching with my client problem solving strategies. This has helped me and my client significantly within our process because my client's still 17, is in the maturing phase, and a lot of times exercise doesn't seem realistic to him. But on the other end, using exercise more so as a problem solving tool to, solve unhealthy behaviors really has helped us in the long run and really has helped us with his perspective on life and how exercise can be more than just about getting fatigued. And it's more so about strengthening your mind and strengthening your muscles and trying to have a full body or a mind body connection as you're doing a full body exercise routine per se. And lastly, setting realistic goals and setting goals with anything is very important. In exercise, for example, setting an exercise goal is going to ultimately keep us on track. I always try to relate the exercise goals to reality and how setting an exercise goal and absolutely crushing it can definitely translate into realistic events, such as you crushed an exercise goal of, for example, in our case, of benching your body weight, and you did that within 8 to 12 weeks. After that, you have an assignment that you wanted to complete or an exam coming up, and you pretty much do the same thing. You study exactly how you trained 3 times a week, and then in 8 to 12 weeks when your exam comes, you absolutely crush it. So these 3 strategies that Group One's presentation displayed really has resonated with my coaching abilities, really has helped me work with my client, and ultimately will be the foundations of my coaching strategy moving forward for the remaining months.